ألف لام را كتاب أنزلناه إليك لتخرج الناس من الظلمات إلى النور بإذن ربهم إلى صراط العزيز الحميد.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له لم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك، وقدر كل شيء وخلق كل شيء فقدره تقديرا، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله الله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا. اللهم صل وبارك على هذا النبي الكريم محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله الطاهرين وصحابته الغر الميامين ومن اهتدى بهديهم إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا. أما بعد، اللهم علمنا بما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. I would like first of all to thank Allah Azza wa Jal to have given us the opportunity to gather once again today in one of the houses of Allah Azza wa Jal to remember and to remind each other about the importance of the knowledge and the importance of learning the religion of Allah. And also I would like to thank the brothers, the organizers, the members of the masjid to have given me the opportunity today once again to deliver a quick reminder and a quick talk. And as the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "La yashkurullaha man la yashkurun nas." He has not thanked Allah. He has not thanked Allah, the one who does not thank people. So it is my duty to thank the brothers here who put a lot of effort into spreading the da'wah of Islam, the message of Islam, the message of Tawheed. And it is our duty here, as long as we live in a country such as this, we live in a country where Islam is a minority, Islam is a religion which is classed as a very strange religion. It is our duty as a Muslim to spread the message of Allah with light, with hikmah, with wisdom, and with knowledge, and with kindness. And I pray to Allah Azza wa Jal that we will all share the reward of seeking the knowledge, and our intention of seeking the knowledge and reminding each other is only to get closer to Allah in the Jannah. The more you know Allah Azza wa Jal, obviously the more you'll act, because you know the greatness of Allah Azza wa Jal. And the importance of knowing the greatness of Allah Azza wa Jal will get you closer to Allah. You know that you are nothing to Allah Azza wa Jal. Therefore, no matter how much you act, you will never be able to increase His greatness. No. But rather, the action that you do, the good deed that you do, it goes back to you. It's for your own interest. If you want to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal in Jannah, you have to act. Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, وَتِلْكَ الْجَنَّةُ الَّتِي أُورِثْتُمُوهَا بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. And that is, or this is the Jannah, the heaven in which I will inherit to those who have acted upon it, who have acted for it, who has striven, who strive for the Jannah. So once again, today today's talk will be inshallah the reminder and the following what we have stopped last time of Surah al-Fatiha. I remember that we have pretty much stopped in around Iyyaka na'budu wa Iyyaka nasta'een, and we all know, and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam say that Allah Azza wa Jal has divided the salah, named Surah al-Fatiha as salah, prayer, has divided the prayer, the salah, into two halves. And we have spoken about the first half, which belong to Allah, all the wordings and all the verses that belong to Allah Azza wa Jalla, in terms of praising Him, in terms of mentioning His greatness, His mercy, and in terms of remembering that Allah Azza wa Jalla is the one who owns the recompense day, is the one as Allah Azza wa Jalla who will give reward or who will punish in the day of judgment. And then once you have mentioned all that, you have praised Allah Azza wa Jal, you are actually saying Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'een, which is actually a confirmation, and that you are confirm and you recognize that Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who deserves to be worshipped. Allah Azza wa Jal is the one worthy of worship. Iyyaka na'budu, to you we worship, O Allah. To you alone we worship, O Allah. And to you alone we seek help. Again, this ayah is actually a teaching. Allah Azza wa Jal is teaching us how to rely on Allah Azza wa Jal. We have to rely on Allah by increasing our supplication and increasing our dua. We always need Allah Azza wa Jal. Don't rely on your own action, on your own strength, on your own abilities, because this ability, this strength is only a blessing from Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah has given you this strength, and therefore if you want Allah Azza wa Jal to keep you on that strength and that ability to act, you have to rely on Allah Azza wa Jal, and you have to keep asking Allah Azza wa Jal, because this is the great point of the belief, of the faith of the mu'min, of the believer. A believer should always put his trust and reliance in Allah Azza wa Jal. We should always refer in our dua, refer in our action, in our heart, try to refer to Allah Azza wa Jal. Don't forget Allah Azza wa Jal. And then once you say Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'een, Allah Azza wa Jalla will then say, as our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, هذا بيني وبين عبدي ولعبدي ما سأل. This is between me and my servant now, and my servant shall acquire what he will ask for. So Allah Azza wa Jal is opening His door of mercy. He's opening His door of answering the prayers. So we have said last time that from the adab, from the manners, from the good manners toward Allah Azza wa Jal, is that before you ask Him anything, although it is halal, it is permissible to ask Him directly, but it is not well mannered if you want to ask somebody, especially somebody very respected, somebody very high respect like Allah Azza wa Jal, you need to pray Him, you need to mention His greatness, you need to mention everything good about Allah Azza wa Jal. As if now, if you want to go to a king or to a president and you want to ask something, and if you hope that he will get or he will give you what you ask for, it's best to mention his greatness or his thing that he has done for the country, his great qualities, because it is more likely that he will be granting what you ask for. So what about the Lord of the universe, the King of the kings, subhanahu wa ta'ala? So it is a teaching. Again, this surah is a teaching, is teaching the servant, the believer, the way of asking Allah Azza wa Jalla, that we should praise Allah first, we should mention His qualities, His great characteristics, His name, His great names and attributes, and then ask Allah Azza wa Jalla what you want for yourself or for your family. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Guide us, O Allah, guide us to the straight path. Ihdina. Again, this is another verse showing that Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who owns the guidance. Allah Azza wa Jal is the one who grants guidance. Guidance doesn't come from you. Guidance doesn't come from you. Guidance comes from Allah Azza wa Jal. Therefore, you have to ask Allah Azza wa Jal for guidance. Now, Ihdina, why do we keep asking Allah Azza wa Jal if we know that we are already guided? I mean, if you look at the world now, we have two types. We have either the good people or the bad people when it comes to religion. You have either the believers or the non-believers. And the believers are the Muslim, the one who believe in all messengers and prophets. The one who does not reject one of the prophet and messengers, and the only religion that believe in all prophet and messengers is the Muslimin. The Christian, they believe in all prophet and messenger except Muhammad. The Jews, they do not believe in Isa, they do not believe in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the only people that inshallah are still upon the good faith and good belief is the Muslimin, because they believe in all the prophet and messenger. They did not reject one of the prophet and messengers. Therefore, we say that whoever say he's a Muslim, but he says he believes in all prophet and messengers, but he said, I don't believe in Isa because he's the prophet for the Christian, I don't believe in him. We say to him that therefore you're not a Muslim. Islam is not a religion that rejects prophet and messengers. We have to believe in all prophet and all messengers. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Why do we keep asking Allah about the guidance while we're already guided? Scholars say Ihdina is you're asking Allah for the constant guidance, constant perseverance, that you have to persevere, you have to keep on that, you have to keep firm on that path. So on that ayah, the one who tried to look at it in depth, he will find out that why people will go away from that sirat. There must be a reason. Scholars say, indeed, there is a reason. Because whoever keeps firm and is steadfast upon that truth, he will face hardship. People will target you. People will harm you. People will call you names. If this has been done to the best creatures and best worshippers and best servants, and they have come with miracles, they have come with things that no one is able to explain, extraordinary things, and yet they rejected them, they expelled them, they harmed their family, they named them names, they call them sorcerers, magician. So what about us? What about the low people who are lower than prophets and messengers? Do not expect, when you live in countries such as this or other countries, all the same, do not expect that once you stand firm on the sirat, that Allah loves you indeed, because this is a sign that Allah loves you if you stay on the sirat. Do not say that, khalas, I'm going to live a happy life. No. Allah Azza wa Jal is wise. Allah Azza wa Jal will test you, will put you in trial. And the more you've been patient, the more that you ask Allah for guidance, the more you will find hardship, and the more you will find tribulation and trials, and the more you will find people harming you, people targeting you, people calling you names. And Allah Azza wa Jal has taught us how to deal with this kind of harm and with this kind of hardship. It's just to be patient and rely on Allah. Because Allah said in the Quran, وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. And the final result will go to the people who have piety, people who act, and people who put in practice the commandment of Allah, who obey the commandment of Allah, and people who get away from the sins. Those people will have the final word. But how? Not by despairing, but giving hope, saying, I give up hope, there's no hope. I've been calling people years and years and no one is listening to me. Well, try to read the Quran. Nuh alayhi salam, 950 years, no one believed him. Only 80 people. And in a hadith, a long hadith, where our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he dreamt, and he says that I have seen like a scene of a day of judgment, and we all know that any dream of prophet and messenger is actually true. It's a revelation from Allah. Allah Azza wa Jal is teaching him something. So he said, I have seen a great nation in numbers. It has almost blocked the horizon. It was great. And then Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told Jibreel alayhi salam, is this my nation? He goes, no, this is the nation of Musa alayhi salam. And he said, I have seen another greater nation. And then Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or Jibreel, he said to him, this is your nation. And then during the hadith, it's a long hadith, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, in the day of judgment, I have seen some prophet with 3 and 4 people, believers, some prophet with only 2 believers, some prophet with no believer at all. Does that mean they are prophet and messengers that their da'wah was wrong, the way they were doing was wrong? No, they were doing correctly. They were spreading the message correctly. But people, most of the time, they don't want to sacrifice their time. They don't want to sacrifice some of their wealth. They don't want to sacrifice some of their knowledge. They go, what are you talking about? This is a myth that you're talking about. They don't believe in the day of judgment. They don't want, because we know, and this has happened to many of the callers, when they call the non-believers to Islam, they say, we know, I mean, indirectly, more or less, they tell you, we know it is the truth, but we only fear one thing. What is it? Say, we fear that we must not drink alcohol. We must not walk with women. We must not do that. We must not do this. They believe that it is truth, it is the truth, but they say we can't do it. Why? Because we have to sacrifice most of our time for the sake of Allah. They don't want to do that. They like to follow their own desires, their personal desires. And this is why most of the people, they do not believe in Allah, because they follow their own desires. Allah says in the Quran, أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ. Have you not seen, O Muhammad, those people who have followed and who have taken their hawa, their desire, and their soul or their desire as their God, their soul or their spirit as their God? I mean, they always follow their own whispering, they always follow their own desire, as if it was their God. Whatever their soul say, do this, do that, do this, they do everything what their souls tell them to do. That is why you have to sacrifice. Jannah is a sil'atullah. Jannah is the product of Allah that is very, very expensive. Jannah is not granted. Jannah, you have to buy Jannah. How to buy Jannah? With your belief in Allah and with your action, with your sacrifice. You have to, there will be sacrifice. So that is why Allah taught us to ask Him constantly, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. Keep asking more than 19 times a day, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. That's one reason, saying because the one who are firm in belief, they will face hardship. And there will be more or less, some of them will keep firm, some of them, Allah Azza wa Jal, by His wisdom, Allah want them to be led astray. Allah want them. Why? Because they were not firm in their faith. And the other reason, scholars say, why do we keep asking about Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim, is that we all know that our hearts are in between 2 of Allah's fingers. Allah can turn the hearts, or the way He wants to turn, from good to bad, because Allah knew before He even created you. Allah knew what way you would be following. That is why Allah Azza wa Jal, He will either ease you the way of Jannah, or make it easy for you the way of Jahannam, depending on what you're going to follow. Allah, He knew from the beginning that you were going to follow that way and you'll be going to stay firm. Allah, He will make it easy for you. No matter how hard people say, subhanallah, you have to leave that, you have to leave clubs, you have to leave all this, and you're facing hardship, you're going to jail just because you believe in Allah. You tell them, you know what, I have not found any peace, I have not found any ease but to be in jail, because Allah has made it easy in your heart. Many prophets and messengers, they found peace when they make da'wah, despite of what they face. They face many hardships, they face people, they face harms and everything. Some of them were expelled, some of the prophets were killed. Their nation, they killed them. So this shows that the truth has always its enemy. Don't think that you are on the truth, you are at the light, people will always accept from you. No. Okay, that is why Allah Azza wa Jal has created Shaytan. The purpose of Shaytan and the job of Shaytan is to lead mankind away. Lead mankind astray and away from Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal has given the chance to Shaytan to live. Shaytan asked Allah, Oh Allah, anzirni ila yawmi yub'athun. Let me wait, let me live until the day that we will always be resurrected. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He said, yes, you will be living. And then Shaytan, he made a promise to Allah. لَأَقْعُدَنَّ لَهُمْ صِرَاطَكَ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ صراطك المستقيم ولآتينهم من بين أيديهم ومن خلفهم وعن أيمانهم وعن شمائلهم ولا تجد أكثرهم شاكرين. Shaytan, he made a promise to Allah. He said, I will be sitting in the middle of that sirat al-mustaqim. This is the sirat that we'll be talking in a minute. That sirat, that path. Don't think that while you're in that path, khalas, you'll be facing nothing. There will be no doubt, there will be no shahawat, there will be no desire, there will be no ambiguity, there will be no shaitan. No, don't think that because you're in the masjid, in the house of Allah, shaitan is not there. No, the place in which you will find more shaitan is in this masjid. What does shaitan will do? What will he do in the clubs? Khalas, he's done his job, shaitan. He's done his job. They're led astray. But the job of shaitan is to lead the believers astray. And where are the believers? In the house of Allah. That is why the Prophet Muhammad he did mention in many ahadith, he said, when the iqamah is performed, shaitan is leaving. And when the iqamah is finished, before we start praying, shaitan come back to the believer and whisper to the believer. Where we are praying? At home? We're praying in the masjid. That means shaitan come to the masjid and whisper to you. And then when we say Allahu Akbar, shaitan goes away. And then he said, when we finish Fatiha, in a hadith, he says, shaitan will come back to you. This is a fight. This is a jihad. The true jihad is to fight against shaitan. We all have shaitan. We all have Satan with us. Don't think that we're in the masjid, khalas, we are safe from shaitan. This is not true. You have to believe that when you are on the right path, you will always face enemies. You will always face shaitan. And shaitan, Iblis, the master of the shaitan, he has its own army. As well, Allah has got his own army. وَمَا يَعْلَمُ جُنُودَ رَبِّكَ إِلَّا هُ. And no one knows the true army of Allah except Allah. His angel, His creation. Allah has got an army. Shaitan has got an army as well. From the jinn and from the ins. Allah Azza wa Jalla says in the Quran that every prophet that comes to make the da'wah and to spread the truth, that every time that they come, they will be against them, in front of them, the shayateen, al-insi wal-jinn. The shaitan, the devils from the ins, from mankind, and devils from the jinn. يُوحِي بَعْضُهُمْ إِلَى بَعْضٍ زُخْرَفَ الْقَوْلِ غُرُورًا. They will help each other and they will try to beautify the evil. Always evil come with beauty. That is why the Prophet Muhammad said that the Jannah, heaven, is surrounded by hardship, by the bad things, meaning, the thing that you will find hard to do. And Jahannam is surrounded by the beautiful things. And this is the truth. That is why we have to keep constantly ask Allah Azza wa Jal. Keep asking Allah about the hidayah. Because we don't know the future. We don't know how you're going to die. Are you going to die believing in Allah? We don't know. That is why Allah Azza wa Jalla, the Prophet Muhammad said that our heart will be between Allah's fingers. Between Allah's fingers, and He can turn the heart the way He wants. The way Allah wants, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim. The straight path, as-sirat. As-sirat, scholars, they all say it's the tariq, which means it's a way. And another meaning, a bridge. Al-mustaqim la wijaja fih. Mustaqim means straight, that is not bent, that is not going left or right. It goes to one way, to Allah Azza wa Jal. And scholar says, how do we know the sirat? What is sirat? It is narrated by the Prophet ﷺ, many narrations. The Prophet ﷺ once said that it was Islam. Sirat was Islam. The straight path is Islam. And another narration, the straight path is Quran. And another narration, the straight path is the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And scholars, they all say there's no contradiction in those tafsir, in those explanations. Why? Because if you follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you are following Islam. And if you follow Islam, you have followed the Quran. So the whole explanation, the whole clarification over other. So if you want to follow Islam, you have to follow the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, who came with the Islam. To who was Islam revealed to? To our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, to who the Quran was revealed to our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. You need the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to understand better Islam. And once you follow Islam, you have the rules, you have the teaching. Who taught the Muslimin how to pray and everything? The Quran and the Sunnah. That is why in many interpretation of the Quran, they all said Abu Bakr Siddiq and Ali ibn Abi Talib and Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiya, Muhammad al-Hanafiya, which is Muhammad ibn Ali, the son of Ali. They all said that it was Islam, or it was the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sirat al-Mustaqim is the Prophet, or it was the Quran. And they all these meaning lead to one thing, which is that lead to Allah Azza wa Jal. And scholars say, Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim. If you're guided, that Sirat that we are on, we're actually on the actual Sirat, physical Sirat. Physical means you're actually taking that way. And once you die upon that straight path that you lived or you went through in this life is actually a representation of the bridge over the hellfire. So anyone who died upon the right path and the straight path, then he will be saved and he will succeed in going through the bridge that is over the Jahannam, which is called also Sirat. Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, وَإِن مِّنكُمْ إِلَّا وَارِدُهَا كَانَ عَلَىٰ رَبِّكَ حَتْمًا مَقْضِيًّا, which means that, and every one of you will go through that bridge over Jahannam. And it is a compulsory, كَانَ عَلَىٰ رَبِّكَ. Allah Azza wa Jal has made it compulsory that everyone will have to go through it. Some of them will go as if it was a barq, as if it was a lightning. You don't even know. See, who went there? Who just went there? You don't even see. So fast. Some of them will go as if it was a very fast galloping a horse. Some of them will go running. Some of them will walk. And some of them will even crawl and will probably feel the heat of the Jahannam. And some of them will fall over that bridge, and then they will stay in hellfire until Allah Azza wa Jal wants. That is why, if you want to be saved from that, if you want to go through to that bridge over Jahannam, do you want to go through and do you want to succeed? Do you want to pass through? You have to stay firm and die upon that straight path in this life. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. The path, صراط الذين أنعمت, the path in which you have bestowed your grace upon. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Not those who have earned your anger, O Allah, and nor those who went astray. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. This shows once again that because as-sirat, the right path, it is a good, the right path is a good deed, it's a good thing. Don't forget to refer that good deed and good thing to Allah. Allah Azza wa Jal says, Sirat al-ladhina an'amta. You have blessed, O Allah, with your grace. You have bestowed. So don't say, oh Allah, I'm the one who took the right path. You're not the one. I am the one. This is actually ghurur. This is actually, you get yourself influenced, and this is pride. No. Always refer the good deed and always thank the one who blessed you with that good deed. Allah Azza wa Jal. Again, that sirat al-mustaqim in which you have taken and you kept yourself firm upon it, this is coming from Allah. That is why in Jannah, inshaAllah, may Allah make us that we go to Jannah, we will be saying inshaAllah, وَقَالُوا الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ الَّذِي هَدَانَا لِهَذَا Alhamdulillah alladhi la hadana li hadha wa ma kunna linahtadiya lawla an hadana Allah. We'll say inshallah, Alhamdulillah, praise to you, O Allah, that you have guided us to that sirat. And if you didn't guide us to that sirat, if you didn't guide us in the first place, we would never be able to be guided. Always, scholars say this ayah is actually teaching you that all the good deeds that you do, always refer and thank Allah Azza wa Jal that He has blessed you doing this. He has given you the ability, the strength to do it. And above all that, He has given you the faith of doing it. That is why in one ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla يقول ألم تروا أن الله سخر لكم ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وأسبغ عليكم نعمه ظاهرة وباطنة. Have you not seen, O Muhammad, that Allah Azza wa Jal has made heaven and earth for you, for the creation, that you could exploit it and we could utilize it? And have you not seen also that Allah Azza wa Jal has spread His blessings outwardly and inwardly? Ibn Abbas, he said the greatest outward blessing is Islam. Because Islam means you act upon it. You act Islam, salah, zakat, it's everything that we do outward. And he said inwardly, the inward blessing of Allah is iman. It's your faith, because faith comes from your heart initially. Some people, they may act, but they have no faith. Such as the munafiqeen, the hypocrite. They used to pray with the Prophet, they used to be in the first row, but they had no belief whatsoever. And some people, they say, no, I believe in Allah, but they don't fast, they don't pray, they don't give charity, they don't do hajj, nothing. Contradictory. He's not a true believer. Believe in Allah, faith, believing in Allah should be shown in his action. If you say, La ilaha illallah, you're actually saying that Allah is worthy of worship. So show some type of worship. What are you worshipping? How you are worshipping? By not praying? By not fasting? Just by naming yourself Muhammad and Abdullah, that's it, that's enough? Or by claiming you are Muslim, that's enough? No. Muslim, you have to submit to at least one of the 5 pillars, at least one of the 5 pillars after Shahada, one of the 4 pillars of Islam. At least the only act in which you have a direct talk with Allah is the Salah. The Prophet Muhammad says, whoever wants to talk with his Lord, let him rush to prayer. If you don't pray, you have no relation with your Lord whatsoever. You have cut your relation with your Lord. How can you say you are a Muslim and you don't pray, you don't fast, you don't do any of these things, and you live all your life like this and you die like this? No. That is why faith and Islam is always combined and linked. You can't be a believer without being a Muslim. You can't be a Muslim without being a believer. It's very important to combine both of them. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. You have bestowed, O Allah, your grace upon them. Scholars say what grace that Allah has bestowed, we mentioned earlier, is the Iman. Allah has bestowed upon the people, them, Allah has said in the Quran under that verse, them. We'll mention who are they, those people. He has bestowed them or upon them the Iman, that they have belief in Allah. And He has bestowed upon them also Islam, that they could be right guided. So I have mentioned earlier, what Allah has blessed them with is with the Iman and with the Islam. Iman means that you have believed in Allah, and Islam means that you have acted upon that faith. قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ ثُمَّ اسْتَقِمْ. Say, I believe in Allah, then act upon it. This is the Prophet Muhammad says to one of the companions, say, O Messenger of Allah, teach me 2 words. Prophet Muhammad said, I will teach you 2 words. Say, I believe in Allah, then act upon it. Not just I believe in Allah and then go to sleep. No, act upon that. Them, you have bestowed or you have blessed them with the faith, belief and Islam. Who are them? Scholars, or Ibn Abbas, the scholar of the interpreters, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, he said that it is mentioned in another verse أولئك الذين أنعم الله عليهم من النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين وحسن أولئك رفيقا. Allah said, Ulaika, those who have won, will enter paradise. Allah Azza wa Jal has blessed them with the Prophet, with the Siddiqeen, the truthful people who act upon their belief. Truthful, who are truthful. They never lie. They don't lie with their tongue, and they don't lie with their act, with their limbs. They don't say, I believe in Allah, and then their action lie what they say. Don't say, I believe in Allah, and then when you come to the action, you don't do anything that Allah tells you to do or asks you to do. They don't reject, they don't lie to Allah with their tongue, nor they lie with their action. Truthful. Those people are the truthful people. People who always walk with the truth. And the truthful of the truthfuls is Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu anhu. He was the first one to be named as Siddiq. Why? Because at the time when Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he warned people and told them, I am a prophet, I am a messenger, I have a message from Allah, is that you should worship Allah alone. They were all laughing at him. They were all saying, why you have gone out of your mind? And then they went to Abu Bakr, because they know before Islam, Abu Bakr and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were always together. Why? Because they were close in age, and Abu Bakr was a very, very noble man. And he only walked with noble people. And one of the noble people, our Prophet Muhammad. Before Islam, before he became Prophet, he was a noble man. He never lied. He always helped the poor. He always helped the neighbors. But once he told them, you have to worship Allah alone, and all these idols that you're worshipping, they are fake God and false God. They go, are you going out of your mind? For 300, 400, 500 years, our fathers, forefathers, they're worshipping them, and now you're insulting our religion. Abu Bakr, they went to Abu Bakr, they tried to get more people, to their side. Your messenger say that, your companion say that. He said, if he truly said that, then I believe him. No doubt whatsoever. And then another time, when he went to meet Allah Azza wa Jal in the Isra and Mi'raj, and the nocturnal travel, when he traveled in one night, he went to Palestine. At the time, it took them months. At the time, it took them months to go to Palestine and come back. In one night, at the night after Isha, people, they saw him. And then he went home. He went to Palestine. He went to meet Allah. And then he came back in the morning. And then he told some of the people, I met Allah yesterday, and you should pray now. Some of them who were believers, they disbelieved in Muhammad. Said, what are you talking about? You went in Palestine in just one night, and then you keep us telling lies, saying that you met Allah. So what are you talking about? They went to Abu Bakr and said, look at your friend, your companion, what he's saying. He's saying that he went to Palestine. He said, if he said that, then indeed I believe in him. Radiallahu anhu. No doubt. This is the truth, the truthful of the truthfuls, Abu Bakr and Siddiq radiallahu anhu. Inshallah, if you have the opportunity next time, I'll be talking about the life of Abu Bakr and Siddiq, how he was toward Allah, how he was toward the companions, how he was toward, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his respect toward the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and how he spread Islam, and Abu Bakr and Siddiq. Now, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. So those people in which Allah Azza wa Jal bestowed, who are they? You blessed them. Who are them? Allah said أنعمت عليهم. He didn't mention exactly who. In another verse, Allah he mentioned who they are. The prophets, the Siddiqeen, the Shuhada, the martyrs. Martyrs, those who died to fight for the sake of Allah, to fight for the sake of protecting Islam or spreading Islam. Those who died only because they said La ilaha illallah, and then they defended themselves. They defended the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They defended Islam. They don't want Islam to shut its light. They sacrificed their lives, their money, their wealth, their family. Imagine you have children and you don't see them, you don't see your land, you just go out of the country. It is very hard. It is a hard feeling. If you just travel for a week to work, And if some of you have children, if you don't, may Allah bless you with children, trust me, it is very hard not to see your family for a week. And you're not sacrificing your life, you're only making money. What about if you know that probably 75% you're not coming back? They had no, for them Allah goes before everyone, subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is Allah who gave you, who blessed you with the children. And those children, they will return to Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah can take those children anytime He wants. That is why Allah Azza wa Jal, He said in the ayah, قل إن Allah Azza wa Jal says, قل إن كان آباؤكم وأبناؤكم وأزواجكم وعشيرتكم وأموال اقترفتموها وتجارة تخشون كسادها أحب إليكم من الله ورسوله وجهاد في سبيل الله فتربصوا حتى يأتي الله بأمره. Say, O Muhammad, if your family, your fathers, your wives, your children, your tribes, your tijara, your business, your money, your wealth is more beloved to you than Allah and His Prophet, then do what you have to do until Allah Azza wa Jalla will show you, will punish you. Don't put anything forward before Allah and Messenger. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله واتقوا الله. O you who believe, do not put yourselves forward before Allah and the messengers. Never. Don't love yourself more than Allah and the messengers. That is why many of the companions, they were ready to sacrifice their lives just to save Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When you read especially the story of Uhud, the battle of Uhud, when some of the companions, they took shield as their body, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was like, no. He was trying to get him away. They wouldn't leave. They took him as a shield until one of the companions, it took about 70 hours in their back. 70 hours just to protect Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were ready to die for the Prophet Muhammad. They didn't care about their life because they know that if they die, Islam will still spread as long as Muhammad is alive sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? Because it is the truth, it is the religion of justice, religion of truth. We're spreading the truth, which is worshipping Allah alone. Allah deserves to be worshipped. That is why this is what we're trying to spread. And what we're trying to spread is for what's good for the people. We want the khair, we want the goodness for the people. We don't want to bother them. We want them Jannah. We want to save them from hellfire. Every time or sometime there was one of his neighbors, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he was in Medina. He was a Jew, maybe most of you know the story. And then he used to harm the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he used to put bins and rubbish in front of his house, in front of his door. And many companions, they were angry. Oh, Messenger of Allah, just let us deal with that man. He said, no, he's my neighbor. He has a right upon me. I've got a duty toward him, is to protect him, to be kind and good toward him. Until one day, a couple of days, 3 days, no bish, no rubbish, what's going on? He has heard that his son was about to die, a young boy. He rushed to the neighbor's house. He knocked on the door, and the narration says he didn't even knock on the door, he just went to their house. His niyyah was to save the boy from hellfire. I said, oh boy, listen to me. Say, La ilaha illallah, I will be your lawyer in the day of judgment. And he said, La ilaha. And he was looking at the father, and the father, he said, Ati' Abul Qasim. Obey Abul Qasim, that was his kunya. Obey him. Because the Jews, they know this is the truth. They know. And then he said, La ilaha illallah, and he died upon La ilaha illallah. Prophet ﷺ went out, he cried. He said, Alhamdulillah, that Allah saved that boy through me. The Prophet's intention was to save mankind from hellfire. It's not to bother them, not to annoy them. He just wants to save mankind. This is the mission of all prophets and messengers. And this should be our mission here. Because we are Muslim in a country that is not Muslim, that is not an Islamic country, we should spread the da'wah with your hikmah, with your wisdom, with your khuluq, with your good manners. Talk to them sometime, talk to your neighbors, be kind to them. You have to talk to them. Don't say, I have spoken with them once, they don't want to hear anymore. No. Prophet Muhammad stayed 23 years giving the same da'wah. Noah, 900 years. Ibrahim, 200 years. Prophet, 504, 600 years. Just spreading the message. Be patient upon it. Be consistent with hikmah, wisdom and kindness and love. This is our mission here as long as we're alive. Once we know the religion of truth of Islam, we have to spread it. Because our niyyah is to save mankind from hellfire. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. And we have sent you, O Muhammad. We have not sent you, O Muhammad, only but a mercy for mankind. It's a mercy. Nabiyyin, was-siddiqeen, was-shuhada. So the martyrs, was-salihin. وَحَسُنَ أُولَٰئِكَ. Salihin mean the pious, the righteous people, those who do good. So those people are the ones who have taken the right path. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Know those who have earned your anger, O Allah. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he explained, he said, those who have earned the anger of Allah are the Jews. Even themselves, they know that. At the time of, it was Salman al-Farisi or one of the companions, Suhaib al-Rumi, one of them, I'm not too sure which one. He was looking around the Jazirat al-Arab, the Arabian Peninsula, because he heard there would be a prophet that would come out. So he was looking, and he was told he went to Iraq, and he was told, no, he's coming out maybe from Sham, from Middle East, from Palestine. He went all the way there, and he found the Jewish people, the Jews, and he said, I want to become on your religion, because he was always, on the Tawheed. And then the Jews say, you can become in our religion, you can become a Jewish, that's not a problem, but you have to admit one thing. So what is it? So you have to admit that once you become a Jewish, you'll be cursed upon the Day of Judgment. You'll be cursed. You have earned the anger of Allah Azza wa Jal. You see, but I came all the way. He was coming from Faris, I think it was Faris. He was coming from Persia all the way to get away from the curse of Allah, to get away from the anger of Allah. And now you're telling me you have to enter to the anger of Allah? So, no. And then he didn't accept their religion. And scholars say it does not restrict to the Jews. Normally what Prophet Muhammad mentioned at the time of the Prophet, the Jews, why he mentioned them specifically? Because when the Prophet came with his message, the Jews, all of them, without exception, they knew he was the Prophet. They knew. He said, yeah, indeed you are the Prophet. But they did not believe in him. They did not admit his prophecy and message, because they said, you are an Arab. You're not coming from the descendants of Ishaq. You're coming from the lineage of Ismail. And they envied him. They say, no, you can't be coming from an Arab. A prophet has to coming from Ishaq, not from Ismail. That's the only reason why they didn't believe in him. That is why they did not believe in Isa as well, because he said Isa did not come from that blessed lineage of Musa and everything. So subhanAllah, that is why Allah, the Prophet, as scholar says, it's not restricted to them. Whoever gets a quality of the Jews, which is hasad, which is envy, which is knowing the truth and not following it, then you fall into that category. You fall into the category of the one who will earn Allah's anger. Even if you're a Muslim, you may be a Muslim, you pray with us, but then you know the truth that you shouldn't drink alcohol, but you go, you know what, I drink alcohol. You have earned Allah's anger. You're still a Muslim, but you have earned Allah's anger. And whoever earned Allah's anger, don't say that, oh, khalas, I'm safe or anything like that. You have to get away from Allah's anger. So whoever knows the truth and does not act upon it and get away from it or reject it or turn away from it, then he has earned Allah's anger. Whether he's a Jew or whether he's a Muslim or whether he's Christian, whether he's a whatever. If you know the truth, you've read the Quran, oh yeah, it's true. But you know what, I'm not ready for that. You have learned the truth and you don't act upon it, then you have earned Allah's anger. That is why this is a message the Quran is teaching you, saying that once you know the truth, don't wait. Don't lay back and say, oh, I've got time, I'm only 25, I'm only 30, I'm only 35, I'm only 60. I've got about 10 years. My father, he died 80 years old, I might die 80 years old as well. No, act upon it, straight. وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ, nor those who have gone astray, those who went astray. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he mentioned, he clarified, he said those who went astray are the Christians. But it is not, again, it is not restricted to Christian only. It is not restricted to them. Those who went astray are those who act and worship Allah without light, without knowledge. Like the Christian. The Christian, they say that without knowledge, without any light, without any clarification, they start to rely on Allah and say that Allah has got a partner, Allah has got a son. We have to believe in the Trinity and three in one God. That one God, but he divided in three. And they say, no, those three mean actually one God. They contradict themselves. They say that out of ignorance. No knowledge, no light whatsoever. Allah Azza wa Jalla يقول قل يا أهل الكتاب لا تغلوا في دينكم غير الحق ولا تتبعوا أهواء قوم قد ضلوا من قبل وأضلوا كثيرا وضلوا عن سواء السبيل. Do not say something that you do not even know and that will lead you astray, and you lead people astray. But that does not restrict to only them. Say, Allah spoke here in the last verse about the Christian, that does not apply to us. I'm safe from that. No. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, when he said Christian, he was just giving an example, saying that it is those people who normally act without knowledge. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he said in a hadith narrated by Bukhari and Muslim, I think it was, the companion was Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, or his Amr ibn al-As. He said that it will come a time where Allah, إن الله لا ينتزع العلم انتزاعا من صدور الناس وإنما ينتزع العلم انتزاعا من صدور العلماء حتى إذا لم يبقى عالما اتخذ الناس رؤوسا جهالا, which means that Allah does not take away knowledge, and when people die, Allah take out or take away knowledge once the scholars have died, when there will be no scholars left on earth. And then people start to take each other's as like scholars, and then they will, this is what the Prophet ﷺ said, and they will be asked for few things and they will answer without knowledge. Those people who have answered, they have led themselves astray, they are astray, they have gone astray, and they lead others astray. He used the word dallu, dal, and the ayah said dal. So don't think, this is for Christian, I'm safe from the ayah. The ayah doesn't apply to me. No. The ayah applies to everyone who act and worship Allah without knowledge. And from worshipping Allah without knowledge is practicing the bid'ah, practicing the innovation. Allah Azza wa Jalla say, أفحسب الذين, Allah Azza wa Jalla يقول قل هل أنبئكم بالأخسرين أعمالا الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا ويحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, do you want me to inform you? Allah, he was talking, O Muhammad, Allah, he was saying to Muhammad, O Muhammad, say, O Muhammad, do you want me to inform you? The losers of the losers of the one who act, the loser, who are the true losers? The one who act, the true losers, is those who act الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيُهُمْ, those in which their effort are led astray, have gone astray. They make a lot of efforts, worshipping, they spend charity, they spend a lot of things, but in the wrong way, not in the sunnah of the Prophet. They spend in something in a way that nor the Prophet, nor the companion, nor the tabi'een, nor the four imam have ever taken. Such are Mawlid and Nabawi, the one who celebrates the birthday of the Prophet. Such the one who celebrates, this is what I'll be talking about in a few minutes, the Ashura. Some people, they have some celebration. They say, it's a special day, so you have to do celebration. And you have to spend all night, doing dhikr, who, Allah, Allah. No, there's no such thing. When you look at the book of the Sunnah, the Hadith, from A to Z. Alhamdulillah, many books have been written about the Sunnah, the life of the Prophet. Look at it, try to find out one hadith talking about how he was doing on that night. He wasn't doing anything. The only thing he was doing, he was just fasting. That's it. As a thank to Allah Azza wa Jal that he has saved Musa from Fir'aun. So practicing and reviving the innovation, the invented matter, the invented worship, act of worship, it is whoever does that could be applied in that verse as well, that he's not upon the right path. That is why we have the Prophet ﷺ in most of his khutbahs, in most of his sermon, in most of his speech, he always warned people against newly invented manners, against innovation. And subhanAllah, scholar says, at the time of the companion, what is the hikmah? At the time of the companion, were there innovators? At the time of the companions? They were not innovators. But why did the Prophet ﷺ keep saying all the time? Scholars say there's a hikmah, there's a wisdom behind it. The wisdom is that as if Allah Azza wa Jal has told him that in the future people will start innovating a lot. And now the people who are upon the Sunnah, may Allah make us that we are one of them, are the true strangers. When you act upon the Sunnah and you say you have to pray this way because I have found hadith, book hadith saying that we have to pray this way, the way the Prophet asked them pray, they're going to say, what religion are you talking about now? This is not the religion that we have learned. That is why it is very important to learn, to act upon what you have learned, and to learn from the correct sources so that you may not fall into those innovations. And then waladhalin, ameen. Ameen, which means Allahumma stajib. Oh Allah, ameen in Arabic mean, oh Allah, answer my prayers. And Allah Azza wa Jal, in that, when the servant say that waladhalin, ameen, Allah will say, Hada li'abdi wa li'abdi ma sa'al. This is for my servant, and my servant shall get what he asked for. Meaning that I have answered the prayers of my servant. So this is the second half. The first half was about Allah. The second half is all about you. You ask Allah to be on the correct path. And if you ask Allah with sincerity, with truthful, Allah Azza wa Jal indeed will guide you. And before I conclude my speech, I would like to just remind myself and yourself about in few days there will be a day in which Allah Azza wa Jal, or in which the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he said that it is a good day. It is a good day in which Allah has saved Musa from Fir'aun. And this day is the 10th day of Muharram. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, whoever fasted, I hope that Allah Azza wa Jal will expiate the sin of the past year. And according to most of the Islamic countries, the Ashura may fall into either on Wednesday or either on Thursday. So if you want to fast all at once, Wednesday and Thursday, is better. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he also recommended us to fast the 9th day, because the 10th day is also a day in which Jews fast as a thank of Allah to Allah Azza wa Jal. They thank Allah Azza wa Jal to have saved Musa from Fir'aun. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he was fasting throughout all his life. He was fasting on the 10th day. But then before he died, he said, if I would be alive next year, then I would fast the 9th day as well, to differ from the Jews. But he never lived. But because he said it, so it is a sunnah for us also to fast the 9th and the 10th day. And the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ say, Man sama yawman fi sabilillah باعد الله عنه يوم القيامة أو بعد الله عن وجهه النار 70 خريفا. Whoever fasts one day for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, then Allah Azza wa Jal will get his face away from fire to the land of 70 autumns. 70 falls means 70 years, because from one autumn to another, that's 1 year. So 70 years. So this is the greatness of fasting, any nafil, any optional fast. And from the great optional fasting days are the day of Ashura, with the 9th day. Okay, I'm going to stop here today, inshallah. And if you have any question related to the surah, inshallah, we shall stop here. هذا والله أعلم وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وآله وسلم.
Jazakallah khairan, Brother Umar, for taking the time out and visiting here at Dalli Dawa. Any questions from the floor? Yeah, Brother Atif.
What is the difference between the Siddiqeen?
Maybe the sisters, they want to.
Yeah. The brother wants to know what's the difference between Siddiqeen and Ashura.
Shuhada, martyrs.
Okay, and the martyrs.
No, not the martyrs, Siddiqeen and Salihin.
Salihin.
Okay, Siddiqeen and Salihin.
That's a good question. Every Salihin is not by necessity a Siddiqeen. Because Salih means the one who act the righteous people. But maybe in the beginning they had a bit of doubt, or their faith while acting is not as strong as the Siddiqeen. Siddiqeen is stronger, his faith is a lot stronger. That is why Ayyash, one of the reciters of the Quran at the time of the Shafi'i, or I'm not too sure, one of the Imam, there's one of the name of Ayyash, I can't remember his last name, he said, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq has not بالعربي, which means that Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is not better than people through his many actions. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, why is he the best of the companion? Not because of his increase of the action, but rather because of his truthful iman, his truthful belief. His belief was so true and his belief was so firm that that belief put him in the high level. But that doesn't mean that someone who has got a true belief will not act upon it. Never, never. The one who's got a true belief will always act upon what he believes in. Okay, that's the difference. Righteous one is not necessarily a truthful one. A truthful person, I mean as strong as is truthful. However, Siddiqeen is always righteous. Always righteous. Wallahu alam.
Walaikum salam.
This is from last time the brother was here. Some of the brothers are a bit confused on what you said before, like there's people who are born for the fire and some who are born for the paradise. A few of the young ones have come up like, if we're doing all this like kind of thing, is it all for nothing, like if we were destined, like, I mean they don't know that they're going to go, but it's kind of put them up. Can you just explain that to them, please?
Okay, the brother's question is along the lines that it is stated that some people are destined for the fire and others are destined for paradise. So some people think that, you know, what's the point of me making effort if I already have predestiny to one place or to the other?
This question was asked to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam by the companion. When the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to the companion that every one of us is predestined to the fire or to the Jannah. And then some of the companions, they say, فَفِيمَ الْعَمَلُ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ. Then why acting? Why acting? The Prophet ﷺ said, اعملوا فإن كل أحد ميسر لما خلق له. Mean act upon it. Because everyone, everywhere in which way you're going to hellfire or to Jannah, everywhere Allah Azza wa Jalla has made easy for the one who takes the path on it. So scholars say, because fire and Jannah is something that is in the future. And do you know your place now? Do you know your place? So normally, an intellect, reasonable man say, because I don't know my place at the moment, what I would do, I would rather be from the people of the Jannah. So I would do everything that I would do everything in which the people of Jannah, how they would go to Jannah. Allah Azza wa Jalla has sent messengers, has sent books to show us how to be with the people of Jannah. And He has also said that indeed Allah has predestined, but that predestiny and that destiny, that qadr, is something ghaibi, is something of the unseen world, unknown world. We believe indeed Allah Azza wa Jalla, before He created, He knows which place we are going to be. But He also at the same time sent down messengers and prophets. Why? To show us that the people of hellfire will be those who act like this. The people of Jannah will be those who act like this. So if you want to be people of Jannah, act upon it. And if you truly seek that way and you take that way with sincerity, Allah will make it easy for you. But if you don't seek, you just say, I hope to be people of Jannah, but you don't make an effort to be from the people of Jannah, Allah will not make it easy for you. So that is why in one ayah Allah said, Prophet actually he mentioned the ayah when he answered that, فَعْمَلُوا فَكُلٌّ مُيَسَّرٌ لِمَا خُلِقَ لَهُ, which means that every one of us is created according to what he's acting upon. I mean, every one of us will be predestined according to what we act. And then he said, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَى فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْيُسْرَى. Whoever gives and whoever is pious, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى وَاتَّقَى, whoever gives in charity and whoever is pious, وَصَدَّقَ بِالْحُسْنَى, and he believe in the husna, which is Jannah. Husna is Jannah. He believe in the Jannah, then Allah said, and we will make the path of Jannah easy for him. وَأَمَّا مَنْ بَخِلَ وَاسْتَغْنَى وَكَذَّبَ بِالْحُسْنَى, and whoever was selfish, does not give away. وَاسْتَغْنَى, I mean he rejected, he was arrogant and proud, he rejected the truth, and he does not believe in Jannah. فَسَنُيَسِّرُهُ لِلْعُسْرَى, then Allah said, and then we will make easy for him the path of hellfire. It all depends on you. Allah, before He created you, He knew already which way you're going to take. He knew. He knew from you already which way you're going to take. So He's going to make it easy for you. And once you took the right path of Jannah, Allah Azza wa Jal will make it easy for you. And because you keep asking Allah that you die upon the truth and everything, Allah Azza wa Jal will make you die as a Muslim and upon the truth. And then inshallah you'll be from the people of Jannah, inshallah. But indeed this topic is unfortunately what many people and many scholars of many Islamic sects or Islamic group, they fall into, try to say, well, how can we believe like this? No, we believe in everything. We believe that everything that is created, everything that is happening, everything that is going to happen is predestined. It's a qadr. Allah Azza wa Jal has decreed. Before He created 50,000 years, Allah Azza wa Jal has told the qalam to write everything down. Everything down that is going to happen. But on that time, Allah Azza wa Jal, He knew which way you're going to take. But Allah, did He leave us like this? Did He leave us, not knowing anything? No, Allah sent down messengers and sent down prophet and sent down revealed books, so that it won't be in the day of judgment, we won't be able to tell Allah, oh Allah, we were not aware. Oh Allah, you did not tell us. No, Allah did tell us. Allah did send messengers. Allah did reveal books, so that it will be a proof and an argument against us. But the one who doesn't know, whoever, the one who brought up in the jungle and everything, then those are the exception. We can't say in the day of judgment, scholars say the one who have never heard of any message and any prophecy or any religion, those one will die are ahlu fatra. I mean the people of fatra. Fatra mean the people of when they are cut out of the world. Those people, they will be tested in the day of judgment. In the day of judgment, Allah will test them. And Allah knows already what the answer would be. And the test that Allah will put upon them is that Allah will tell them, go to hellfire. Go to hellfire. Enter hellfire. If he obeys Allah, he will enter hellfire, but he will find coolness and he has entered Jannah. If he say, no, how can I enter hellfire? No, he's going to burn me, then he has disobeyed Allah. Scholar says, what is the wisdom why Allah told him go to hellfire? Because truly the people who enter paradise in this life, they have faced hardship. They have faced harm. So it is just the great wisdom and the great justice and fairness of Allah, that Allah, when He will test those people who are dying, never heard of any prophecy, never heard of nothing, then Allah Azza wa Jal will test them by telling them, go to hellfire. But those Ahlul Fatra, we call them Ahlul Fatra, now with the technology and with the TV and everything, everyone knows about Islam. Everyone has heard at least about Islam. So the argument has now been established. You can't say, oh Allah, no, I have never heard of Islam. But yet again, it is not sufficient to tell us, khalas, we have TV and everything, we should stay at home and not spreading da'wah. No, still, go out and show to people. And always ask Allah, because your destiny is something on the unseen, you don't know whether you're going to hellfire or Jannah, ask Allah. Like we say in English, there's a word that says cause to effect. Everything has a cause to effect, Jannah and hellfire as well. Allah Azza wa Jal knows that you're going to take the way of Jannah, then Allah will make it easy, and inshallah Allah Azza wa Jal will make you enter paradise. But if you have turned away from the truth and you take the path of Jannah, of hellfire, drink alcohol, not believing in Muhammad, not believing in anything, then Allah Azza wa Jal will take you to hellfire. Wallahu alam. Now, there's a question here. You can chant your qadr by dua. That is true. You can chant, the Prophet Muhammad said, you can chant qadr by dua. That qadr is not the absolute qadr, because qadr is divided into many subcategories. The absolute qadr is what is written in the Lawh al-Mahfuz, in the preserved slate. What is written 50,000 years before Allah created earth and heaven, that preserved slate is preserved, nothing can change. But Allah, when He wrote that down at the time, Allah knew that on that day you're going to ask Allah to do that. So on that day Allah said, okay, on that day I'm going to change my decree from that to that. Because the qadr, the absolute qadr, is divided into many subcategories, which is qadr al-hawli, taqdeer al-hawli, taqdeer al-umri, taqdeer al-yawmi. We have every, before you are born, Allah has written, Allah has sent an angel to tell him, okay, whether he's going to be from the, is it record? Yeah, whether you're going to be from the wicked people going to hellfire, or whether you're going to be from the people, the happy people going to paradise. But that taqdeer al-umri, can it change during your life? It can change. Why? Because you have taken necessary action and necessary steps to ask Allah to turn you into a good person. But the preserved slate, the one that is written 50,000 years ago, can never change. I know this is a very, very confusing topic, but inshallah when we or one of the du'at more knowledgeable comes and speak about qadr, he'll be able inshallah to explain in further details about the qadr and everything. But it is a topic that should be dealt with and studied very thoroughly, because most of the Muslims, unfortunately, they have fallen and they fell into the error when it comes to the qadr. They believe in Allah's qadr the wrong way. The wrong way. That is why it's very important to study in a very detailed manner, so that inshallah we have the correct belief, because it is one of the 6 pillars of the belief. You have to believe in the qadr. Okay? But the general belief is that you have to believe that everything that is happening, or that has happened in the past, or that is going to happen, has been decreed by Allah. That's been decreed by Allah. Allah Azza wa Jal has already known. He has known what's going to happen. Allah has decreed it. We can't say that, oh, this has happened without the will of Allah. No, everything had been decreed by Allah Azza wa Jal. Wallahu alam.
Okay, we'll have to take the final question, and which has been texted through to me, and that is, can you also fast on the 11th?
Naam, you can fast as long as it is Muharram. You can fast. There's two opinions of the scholars on that topic, based on one hadith narrated by Imam Ahmed. But scholars differ whether the hadith is authentic or not. The Prophet Muhammad says, do not fast Ashura alone, but fast it with the day before or the day after. Scholars, they say that hadith is not authentic. But generally, fasting in the day of any day of Muharram is beloved to Allah. The Prophet Muhammad says the best fasting after the compulsory fast of Ramadan is fasting during the month of Muharram. During the month of Muharram is the most beloved month to Allah when it comes to fasting. So fast 11, fast 12, fast 13, 14, 15, but don't fast the whole month. The only month in which Prophet Muhammad fasted as a whole month is Ramadan. And the month in which he fasted the most of it is Sha'ban. But try to fast Monday, Thursday, 13, 14, 15, the Ayyam al-Bid. But you can fast 11. La bas, inshallah.